Thinking about buying or selling land in Texas? So one of the first questions everybody always asks is, how much? What can I get it for, or what could I sell it for? And obviously maximum value and maximum efficiency is the whole point, a large part of what we do as agents, or what I do specifically. So if you're listing the property, then I would look at exactly how we would find that price so I can get you the most money. And if you're buying it, obviously my goal is to get it for the cheapest amount possible. But what does that mean? Should you set a price way over the market and just hope for the best? If you're selling land, you need to know whether now is the right time. Should you offer significantly before asking price, hoping that you might just get lucky? The terms price and value are not the same. So value is ultimately what the bank or any lending institution is going to use to decide whether or not how much they're going to loan you on it. So what it could comparably sell for in the market, what they think is an acceptable value. Price just means what the guy thinks he'll sell it to you for. So those things are not the same. And what somebody may list it for may have absolutely no logistical sense in the market. And it's our job as professionals to be able to help you understand not only whether that's true, but what to do about it. Value is not determined by what you want to pay, or even what you've been qualified for by your bank. Value is not some determination based on some formula of taking the price minus some percentage or some fixed cost of $10,000 that we want to take off. Value is taken by looking at the previous sales for similar properties in your immediate area. So they have to be properties that have something similar to what you have. A 10-acre property versus a 1-acre property would not be a comparable sale that we would use in determining value. So what the appraiser is going to use, and therefore what we should use when we're either setting a price or deciding what price we're going to make as an offer, is we look at the comparable sales in the area over a period of time that's relevant. 5 years ago, not relevant. 2 months ago, very relevant. Somewhere in between there, we've got to take that blend, and those are the prices that we would use to develop either an offer to buy or of course a sales price for what we're going to list it for. So let's say we decide to list your property higher, maybe much higher. Maybe the comparables in the area give us a sales price that should be somewhere around $350,000 for the value. And we say, let's put it for $450,000. Let's say we get a contract, because maybe I'm good enough that I can actually convince someone to still pay that. So we get a contract on it, we put it in escrow, we get earnest money. They go to the bank, they get their lender, they get approved. The lender looks at the whole deal, send out an appraiser. The appraiser looks at that original number that I already told you was $350,000, maybe $340,000 in this case, and they're only willing to loan whatever their loan to value is on that. So now the buyer, if they want to keep that deal, still has to come up with the rest of that money, which, from my experience, isn't going to happen. So we've got to set a sensible sales price, or at least be ready to sell for that sensible sales price. If we list it for something higher, we know it's going to have to go for that. So the important thing to remember is that you need a professional on your side. Someone that not only knows the market, but has access to the data and frankly knows how to read it. So you've got to be able to understand what the sales history means, what comparable sales are actually relevant to your comparable buy or sell purchase, and then be able to go to bat for you and argue those numbers. So I can't tell you about the number of times I've had to do that with an agent who just was a little bit unmatched because they didn't have access, or they had access to the data, but they didn't understand it in the same way. So again, you want a professional, I'd love to be that person. I primarily handle land between Dallas, San Antonio, and Houston, within that whole triangle. But wherever you are, I'm happy to help. If nothing else, reach out, answer questions. So if I can be a resource, Kelly, TexasLand.com.